challenges that the MSMEs are facing on riding on innovation is lack of awareness. There are so many of them out there that could actually make their businesses better if they are aware of the opportunities out there provided by fintechs and financial innovators. But because they are not aware, the way they've been doing business is the way they think it's best. Maybe they even inherited it from their grandparents, and they think the best way to do is to continue that way. So that is a challenge. So how do we address this challenge? Of course, the innovators and the bankers have a role to play, and the regulators too, to get them educated on better ways of doing business, catching in on innovation. Another challenge that we need to take care of is even those who have embraced technology, the MSMEs that have become acquainted with technology and they have embraced it. Have they embraced it rightly? Have they embraced technology in such a way that is relevant today and still relevant tomorrow? Because we know that technology is dynamic and is always changing. Technology that is relevant today may not be too relevant tomorrow. It may be overtaken. So awareness does not stop at getting to know what is to be done. It also extends to getting to know what should be done now and how to upscale so that in future you will still be in business. And then the elephant in the room when it comes to innovation, technology, and MSMEs is that word, electronic fraud or cyber security. This also has to be addressed, and this is a challenge for MSMEs. We started by saying that many of them are not even aware, and those that are aware do not have the full gamut of what they need to know. Then how about cybersecurity? How do we ensure that, like the Adire blink that Akim talked about, that the business will continue to be in existence, that a neighbor or a competitor who does not want that business to thrive will not do a denial of service on his website because, as he said, that business thrives on the internet. So what happens if, out of jealousy or whatever, somebody goes to the website and make that website unavailable to anybody? It means that the business, within some days, will get ruined. So this is one of the challenges that the MSMEs will have to cope with when they embrace technology. And of course, the issue of privacy regulation is there. We know that in Nigeria, as of now, we do not yet have a legislation on data privacy. But I'm sure the National Assembly is working on that. There is a bill that is being proposed, which has gone through first, second, and probably the third reading. I think they've even done a public hearing. But until that comes into law, until it becomes a law, our MSMEs that are embracing innovation, embracing technology also need to be aware that the data of their clients that they may have on their system has to be adequately protected and not be made available for those who should not have it.
One of the challenges I have when people talk about MSME is the impression that it's one singular block, and it's not. Micro, small, and medium are totally different. And so from there, we then get into the regular conversation about technology and about making credit and money available. I'm sorry, I differ. I don't agree with that. With someone who has invested in about 4 or 5 technology startups that have failed, I agree these are important, but I don't think that's all that is important. So I don't want bankers to focus too much or everything on funding and on whether they're on one technology platform or the other. In the days when I went to business school, we had 4 Ps. I understand it's grown since then to about 7 or 9 Ps: price, placement, product, and promotion. So I want to talk about technology from the point of view of some of those Ps. And so let's take product, for example. The typical SME, or S, in the MSME is producing limited quantity, so they are not scale. Usually labor is a significant cost item to them for a local market. They're not exporting. And around the world, most MSMEs produce to supply large companies. So in essence, BMW and Mercedes are large assembly plants for materials created by smaller organizations. So I'll use smoking fish to illustrate my point, because I've tried that as well and it also didn't work, okay? So, yes, everybody wants to do, especially catfish, that's in vogue. And because my neighbor has done some catfish, I also want to try and have some catfish. Now, where do I get the feed? Because there are about 3 or 4 defining things in successful fish breeding: the quality of water, the quality of the feeds, and then your stock, the fingerlings that you get. Many people don't even know where to get that kind of information from. So everybody around them is growing catfish. They've made money from it, so they're also going to it. And guess what? Many of them, like me, are not successful. So one of the real opportunities, and it's been mentioned already, is the ability to get information for whatever you want to do. And technology today makes it so simple and so easy to find out what people have done. You go to YouTube, you don't read it, you actually see it and pick from it. It requires infrastructure, and we're not talking about how we can help make that available so it's easier for them to be successful. We all talk about online and what have you. The truth is, the amount of online commerce in Nigeria is minimal and small compared to the face-to-face that you have. Go to a ShopRite and you know that for a fact. So the average MSME is not going to be selling on some website somewhere. He has to have a way of, and he can't do retail because it's too expensive. He can't go from door to door knocking, trying to sell smoked fish. So there has to be some way of bringing them together to those who can buy and build up the scale, even if it's with their brand. So it's not a magic wand. It's not so once we get the techie, everybody's on a website, they come running to your website, you make the sales, and lo and behold, the world is a better place for you. For those who've tried it and failed like me, it doesn't work like that. So as bankers, we need to realize that this is the real world. And everywhere you have 2 different worlds touching, there's always a challenge. So whatever you do online, the majority of them provide not services, but products. And the products have to reach people, real people. They have to move around, which is logistics. That's another killer for them. Can we make it easier for them? Yes, we can. Can we help MSMEs to build logistic business that will then support other MSMEs? Yes, we can. But assuming that once we can give them a lot of loans at a very low rate, we've more or less made everything okay for them. Or that we have the technology so we can put them on a website. I'm sorry, the woman who has a booker with goat meat, again, I know, I've tried to do goats. Again, I wasn't successful. It's not going to go online to look for who has the best looking goats and then buying from you. So they have real challenges. The problem is we tend to put them all together in one bucket of knowledgeable people who understand basic technology, have some infrastructure, and are therefore accessible. For the end, not the small, but the medium, maybe. So let's look at it when we're working with SMEs. It is hard work, and it's not the money you give them that's going to make them successful.
What is the way forward that we're seeing in terms of addressing this use of technology for MSMEs in the country?
Okay, so for MSMEs, we first need to understand who they are. They tend to be small organizations, limited production, limited capital, limited knowledge. The first thing is we need to help them improve whatever it is they're doing. Because in a competitive world, if you are the best person at fishing, and the only thing you know is that I can farm and have maybe 100 fish, and you think you are great, and that's what's carrying your whole family, it's going to be difficult. But the same land you have, the same water you have, with improved knowledge, you may be able to not farm 100, but 1,000 fish. So the first thing is being able to help them identify the opportunities in whatever area they want. That would require us giving them the tools, whether it's something as simple as every day they've signed up to their small group, which could be a cooperative, and then they get an SMS message saying today's the day you should farm, or tomorrow is the day you should feed the fish. Simple things like that would help. So that's the first. The second then is helping them find markets. So someone who has 100 fish walks into ShopRite and says, I'm going to deliver fish to you. Nobody's going to answer them. We need to find ways of organizing them and aggregating them so that 1, 2, 3, 4 of you together now have a meaningful quantity that is economically viable for the likes of the big shops or supermarkets. You can't be going to 100 houses trying to sell one fish. So you must find where you would put the fish that 100 people will come to. So that's another way we'll help them. Technology then bridges the difference and the divide. So for the person who has fish, you can help him with when best to feed the fish, what kind of food to give them. They have some maggot treatments that they can do. On the other side, those who are trying to buy, you can now help them with packaging and linking them up. So it's not one, like saying technology solves all the problem. You need to understand who has an issue and what area of it. Helping them to market is one area technology can help them. Interacting with the market is another one. And then ultimately, you then talk about payment and all those, how do they get their money? But if they don't produce enough and get to the market, we shouldn't start a conversation on payments.